By the way, Mr. Tortelli, I'm a vegetarian.
I should have offered her a head of lettuce.
Once a loser, always a loser, right, Tortelli?
Back in the late 1980s, every hit sitcom dreamed of launching its own spin-off, hoping to bottle lightning twice. Yet, not every beloved barfly could carry a show beyond the doors of Cheers. Relive the spectacular missteps and wild moments of the Tortellis as we count down its most cringeworthy details. Number 1. The Tortellis, the most embarrassing spin-off in Cheers history. Let's go back to 1987, when network TV was eager to bottle the magic of Cheers. Enter the Tortellis, a spin-off built around Carla's ex-husband Nick and his new wife Loretta. Cheers fans tuned in, expecting wisecracks and Boston barroom charm, but what they got was something else. A broad, slapstick family sitcom set during sun-bleached Las Vegas afternoons. Without the lovable Boston cast or that warm, lived-in taproom, the Tortellis struggled from day one, lasting only 13 episodes on NBC. No one from Cheers came to visit, and Boston never sent a postcard. The show quietly vanished, almost never mentioned again by the Cheers writers or cast. In the wild world of TV spin-offs, the Tortellis became a gentle reminder that not all magic can survive the move down the block. Sometimes when you leave the bar, the laughter just doesn't follow. Number 2. The Tortellis, the most embarrassing spin-off in Cheers history. A burst of canned laughter opens the Tortellis, and right away, something feels off. Spinning out of Cheers, this 1987 comedy hoped the misadventures of Nick and Loretta would capture that same barroom magic. Instead, critics saw a pale imitation, pointing out muddled storylines and cardboard cutout characters. From the pilot, reviews called it a lesson in how not to do a spin-off. Viewers missed the Cheers wit and warmth, replaced instead by broad slapstick and a parade of forgettable sidekicks. The media was swift to pan the show, and NBC tried to rally with prime slotting, but even they couldn't revive it. Only 13 episodes aired before the Tortellis slipped quietly off the schedule, marking one of the shortest-lived primetime spin-offs in television history. Such a public flameout made it a cautionary tale for sitcom creators ever after. The fake bar stools had barely cooled before everyone was ready to move on, eager for a sitcom that truly knew when and how to say cheers. Number 3. Jokes that belonged in another decade. You could feel the mismatched energy as soon as the Tortellis rolled onto your TV set in 1987. Spun off from Cheers, it tried to capture the magic with Nick and Loretta Tortelli's bickering charm, but instead served up punchlines straight from the groan-worthy sitcoms of decades past. While Cheers thrived on witty banter that felt alive, the Tortellis relied on jokes about mother-in-laws, hapless husbands, and pizza delivery mishaps that could have aired in black and white. Younger audiences, hoping for the same smart comedy as Cheers, rolled their eyes at every forced laugh track. And for longtime Cheers devotees, the jokes landed with a thud. Even Jean Kassem's return as Loretta couldn't rescue it. 13 short episodes later, NBC pulled the plug, sealing its fate as one of television's fastest forgotten spin-offs. It's a perfect case of how sitcoms must grow with their viewers, or risk being left alone on a dusty VHS tape, rewound to oblivion. Up next, a different kind of sitcom misfire, one that looked fresher, but flopped for a whole new reason. Number 4. The Unfunny, Unlovable Extended Tortelli Family. It's hard to forget the sharp tang of disappointment when the Tortellis debuted on NBC in 1987. Nick Tortelli, Carla's ex-husband from Cheers, brought along a parade of bumbling relatives meant to anchor a fresh sitcom universe. But viewers quickly noticed that Nick's family didn't carry the quirky spark of the Cheers barflies or even the lovable failings of Carla herself. Where Cheers thrived on witty banter and unlikely friendships, the Tortellis stumbled with tired punchlines and flat personalities. Characters like Loretta, Nick's airheaded wife, could never hold a candle to Norm or Cliff. Critics panned the show, and by the end of its only season, not a single new face had delighted audiences the way the original ensemble did. The cheerless apartment in Las Vegas could never replace the snug coziness of Sam's bar, and NBC quietly pulled the plug after just 13 episodes. As the credits rolled for the last time, fans, and probably Carla too, breathed a sigh of relief. Sometimes it turns out, family doesn't always make things better. Number 5. The Tortellis. You could spot the desperation in the air every time a familiar face from Cheers popped up for a forced cameo on the Tortellis. Spun off in 1987, the Tortellis was NBC's wild gamble, dropping Carla's ex-husband Nick and his new wife Loretta into a sitcom way outside the Cheers barstools. Instead of letting this new world breathe, producers tried to hook viewers with crossovers from Norm, Cliff, and other cherished Cheers barflies. But these visits rarely made sense, turning sharp-witted regulars into awkward props lost in mismatched storylines. No matter how Norm and Cliff tried to liven things up, their appearances felt wedged in, quick stunts more than genuine reunions. Every time audiences groaned, you could almost hear the shuffle of desperate writers backstage. By the time ratings sank and the Tortellis ended after 13 episodes in 1987, the show left behind nothing but a reminder. Lightning rarely strikes twice. Maybe some things should stay on the other side of the barroom door, right where they belong. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever spot a favorite Cheers character showing up where they didn't quite belong? Which TV spin-off did you find the most awkward or surprising growing up? Drop your funniest memories or cringe moments below. Number 6. Lame ratings and a swift NBC pull. You could almost hear the collective cringe when the Tortellis took the stage in 1987. Riding the tidal wave of Cheers' popularity, NBC gambled big, airing this spin-off right after Cheers' Super Bowl episode. On paper, it looked like a slam dunk. Nick and Loretta Tortelli, those lovably tacky relatives, were set for sitcom stardom. But the audience wasn't buying it. Ratings plummeted week after week, even though the show followed NBC's hottest lineup on Thursday nights. By May, the Tortellis was quietly swept under the rug before its short first season could even take a bow. Not even the loyal Cheers faithful could muster much more than polite curiosity. The gags felt off-key. The warmth that glued Cheers together just wasn't there. For a network that hit so many home runs in the 80s, this was a rare and humbling strikeout. Sometimes the magic just doesn't travel, no matter how familiar the faces. On to our next chapter, where loyal fans might finally feel at home again. Number 7. Carla's cameos that couldn't save the show. You could almost hear the hopeful applause each time Carla burst onto the set of the Tortellis. Her signature laugh, those one-liners. Fans of Cheers might have expected sparks. But Rhea Perlman's electrifying cameos only highlighted what the Tortellis lacked: genuine heart and the tight-knit magic of its Boston bar roots. Spun off in 1987 and following Carla's ex-husband Nick and his new wife Loretta, the show traded the warm glow of Cheers for a scattered family sitcom that never quite found its rhythm. Each Carla appearance teased what could have been, reminding loyal viewers of the gold standard back at Cheers, especially when Perlman's chemistry with Dan Hedaya felt forced, not fun. Despite the nostalgia factor, audiences tuned out. NBC canned it after just 13 episodes. Sometimes even the sharpest wit and fondest memories can't save a show that never felt truly alive. When the credits rolled, you felt the difference, and maybe reached for the remote for a fresh pour of classic Cheers instead. Number 8. Loretta's ditzy persona turned up to 11. Picture Loretta Tortelli's feathery platinum hair and bubbly voice. Now, imagine her quirks stretched so far, they snap. When the spin-off The Tortellis aired on NBC in 1987, Jean Cassem's Loretta, once a beloved and oddball presence on Cheers, became almost unrecognizable. In her new show, Loretta's endearing naivete was dialed up into pure caricature. The original balance, where her silliness was offset by the sharp-tongued Cheers crew, was gone. All that remained was the most extreme version of her ditzy persona. Heartfelt moments turned awkwardly hollow, and laughs became groans as each joke landed with a thud. Fans who tuned in hoping for the old Loretta felt the warmth slip away episode by episode. Without the Cheers bar stools or coaches' wisecracks to ground her, the magic fizzled, and the Tortellis closed shop after just 13 episodes. When the spotlight gets too bright, even the quirkiest charm can fade to black. Number 9. Nick Tortelli's charm gone wrong. Picture that shrill, unmistakable laugh from Nick Tortelli, the kind that cuts through a crowded bar like a rusty saw. Played by Dan Hedaya, Nick was always a recurring pest on Cheers, popping in just long enough to drive Carla crazy before slinking off into sitcom infamy. But in 1987, NBC gambled big, handing Nick and his second wife Loretta their own spin-off, The Tortellis. What worked in small doses soon proved overwhelming. Nick's antics, funny when tossed into Cheers ensemble, became exhausting when writ large as lead. The show's gags fell flat, and viewers squirmed more than they smiled. The Tortellis lasted only 13 awkward episodes before vanishing without a trace. It's a classic example of a supporting player who shines best in the background, not under the harsh spotlight. As that canned laughter faded, fans found themselves longing for the familiar chaos of Cheers, ready for the next chapter, where the magic truly happened. Number 10. The Las Vegas setting that never felt real. Neon signs, fake palm trees, and a laugh track. The Tortellis tried to capture Las Vegas, but ended up stranded somewhere between Dayglow and disappointment. When NBC launched this Cheers spin-off in 1987, fans expected that Nick Tortelli, Carla's shameless ex, would serve up comedy gold. Add in his ditzy new wife Loretta and a dash of casino chaos, and you'd think magic would follow. But from its very first episode, the show's Vegas felt hollow. Plastic poker chips clinked in soundstage silence, and the shimmer of the Strip faded under studio lighting. Unlike the cozy bar where everybody knew your name, the Tortellis gave viewers sets that looked more like high school theater than high-stakes entertainment. The series flopped, lasting just 13 episodes before getting pulled, a blink compared to Cheers' storied run. In the end, the glitz never stuck, and audiences just longed for the bustling warmth of their favorite Boston bar. Next, let's see what happened when sitcoms tried to chase new horizons, but lost their homey soul.